Welcome back, everyone, to Cliffhangers at Page Turners, episode 35 today, and we are taking you somewhere pretty intense, straight to the underworld. Hope your week was good. Maybe, significantly less hellish than where we're headed.
But let's hope so. Because, we're diving straight into R.F. Kuang's newest book, Katabasis.
Yeah.
Think eternal twilight, bureaucratic nightmares. The works.
It's quite the setup. And hey, look, if you're into these kinds of gripping book discussions, and honestly, the wild plot twists of this book, it is packed with them. Definitely hit that subscribe button.
Yeah, you won't regret it.
We drop new episodes every Friday on all the podcast platforms. But just so you know, for the full library, all the old episodes, you can only find those over on YouTube.
Right. And that title, Katabasis, we should probably touch on that first. It's an old term. Ancient Greek, actually.
It means a descent, right? Going down.
Exactly. A journey downwards into the underworld. Could be literal, could be metaphorical. And that's our plan today, basically. We're following Alice Law. She's a Cambridge postgraduate.
Yep. During Mike Lama's term, no less. Very specific.
Very Cambridge. And her mission. To rescue her advisor, Professor Grimes, who's this big deal academic from the 8 courts of hell.
Just casually rescuing a soul from hell. And the book doesn't waste any time setting that up. That first line of chapter 1. It's just bam.
It's you straight away.
Alice set out to rescue her advisor's soul from the 8 courts of hell. Like, okay, we're doing this. And then there's that epigraph from Plato.
From the Phaedo, yeah. It's about the philosopher basically, spending their whole life getting ready for death.
Which immediately tells you this isn't just some, standard fantasy quest. It's asking bigger questions. Can the mind survive the body? Should it?
Exactly. It frames the whole thing intellectually right from the start. The stakes aren't just physical danger like monsters or whatever. It's about existential failure, academic pride, vanity.
All the good stuff.
Right. The real tests for the soul. It's a descent, yeah. But intellectually, psychologically, too. ##I. The Cambridge setting and the rules of magic.
Okay, let's dig into this magic system Kuang created because it's brilliant and it drives everything. Analytic magic.
It's fascinating. It's all about logic and language, not spells and potions in the usual sense.
Right. The book calls it the act of telling lies about the world.
Yeah, which is just such a perfect description. It's manipulating reality through linguistic trickery, logical conundrums. You need this intense focus, this willpower to basically convince the universe that your lie is true just for a moment.
Even if everything you see and feel tells you it's impossible.
Exactly.
But I found that so, fitting, almost like a satire of academia itself. These magicians aren't channeling gods. They're just really, really good at arguing.
Persuasive writing taken to the extreme.
But it needs insane precision.
Yeah.
Chalk pentagrams drawn perfectly. Inscriptions without a single flaw. It's like they're coding reality, but with chalk.
And that detail extends to the power source, too. It's not some mystical energy. It's living, dead, magical energy.
Which sounds unpleasant.
It is. It comes from ground-up shells of ancient sea creatures. It's very specific, kind of mundane, almost gross. It really emphasizes that their power comes from applying intense focus to, dead things.
But it's fragile, right? That's key. Kuang emphasizes that magic is ephemeral.
Right. Fleeting. You fool the world for a second, and then everything went back to the way it was before.
And that's the core tension, isn't it? These academics, they crave permanence, power that lasts. But the magic itself, it just flickers. It's almost tragic.
Absolutely. Which leads us nicely into the main players here, Alice Law and Peter Murdoch. Alice is our viewpoint character mostly.
And she is ambitious, scary ambitious.
Yeah.
The book says she'd sacrifice her firstborn for a professorial post.
Ooh. Yeah, that line tells you everything about the world she's in, the pressures. She's brilliant, definitely.
But also deeply insecure, academically speaking. Hates losing because she's not used to losing. And in Cambridge, losing isn't just disappointing. It's like death.
Good.
Career death.
Right. And then there's Peter Murdoch, the rival.
Look, Peter. He's everything she's not, in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect background, effortlessly brilliant, comes from academic royalty. Kind of infuriating.
Totally. And we learned they have this history. They were lab partners, rivals, but there was this spark. They used to quarrel, but the book says that quarreling was fun, like an intellectual dance.
Yeah, like sparring. But that connection, that fun, it's long gone by the time the book starts. Peter's become withdrawn. Maybe arrogant.
Yeah, the intimacy's gone, and the whole trip to hell kicks off because Peter's just unbelievably rude.
It's kind of shocking. Alice is doing this super complex ritual, it needs total precision, and Peter just strolls into her pentagram.
Without asking. It's like walking up during someone's PhD defense and just drawing on their presentation slides.
Exactly. But then, almost immediately, you kind of forgive him because his brain is just, wow. He instantly identifies her spell.
Yeah. Sue's basic transportative pentagram with Satya's modifications. And then he adds the crucial bit, Ramanujan's summation.
Okay, pause there, because that's important. Sue and Satya show Alice knows her stuff. It's complex. But Peter, knowing the modifications needed, that shows his depth.
And Ramanujan's summation, that's the key, isn't it? That mathematical paradox, the whole 1 + 2 + 3 = Nagus 112 thing. It makes no sense in our world.
But in analytic magic, it's how you break reality, how you force it to accept the impossible, like, say, going to hell.
Precisely. He sees what she needs, sees the paradox required, and just decides, I'm coming with you.
And he fixes her spell on the fly. 1 becomes 2, abracadabra. Now there's room, just like that.
He forces the spell to make space for both of them, which sets up this incredibly awkward, intense journey where they're stuck together. It's a clash of egos right from minute 1. #2, hell's bureaucracy and the burden of memory.
So they arrive in hell. And the imagery is not what you'd expect, maybe. No fire, no brimstone. Not immediately, anyway.
No, it's administrative. Kind of gloomy, eternal dusk. The first place they land is the viewing pavilion. It feels like just another institution, honestly.
Yeah, like a weird, depressing museum. And the description of the pavilion itself is striking. It's a bridge, right, where souls can look back at the living world.
But the view is distorted. It's Cambridge again, but the campus turned upside down and shudderingly translucent, like a glitchy reflection.
Familiar, but deeply wrong. And observing this, they get this insight into ghosts, into haunting.
Yeah, it turns out ghosts aren't really trying to scare people, mostly. They linger because they're fascinated, entranced, and obsessed with the rituals of the living.
They just want to be remembered. Like they want a citation in the footnotes of life.
Basically. Which makes ghost stories so rarely malicious. It's kind of sad, really, deeply academic, even in death.
That craving for relevance. But this whole section also reveals something huge about Alice, something she's carrying literally on her skin.
Yes, the tattoo, the dazzling living pentagram.
Which wasn't her choice, not really. Grimes etched it onto her.
Because he wanted permanent magic. He wanted to break that fundamental rule that magic is ephemeral. So he used living human skin, Alice's skin, to hold the charge for a lifetime.
It's a massive violation.
Mass.
Magical, ethical, personal.
And the cost for Alice is immense. Physically, psychologically, it causes this constant memory overload, a vicious procession of memories. Hers, others, ambient magic.
She has to fight constantly just to stay grounded, right? Repeating her name, her status like a mantra.
I am Alice Slaw. I am a postgraduate at Cambridge. I study analytic magic over and over. Otherwise, she'd just dissolve into the noise. It's like having this awful radio in her head she can't switch off.
What's really heartbreaking, though, is how she initially frames it. She tells herself, I let him, I wanted to do it.
Yeah, she convinced herself it was a sign of favor. That being subjected to this dangerous, violating procedure meant she was special to Grimes. She mistook trauma for privilege.
Which just shows how toxic that whole environment is. And Peter sees it, doesn't he?
He does. He looks at the tattoo, the inscription, and immediately says the handwriting isn't hers. He knows Grimes did it.
And for Alice, hearing it from Peter, someone whose intellect she actually respects, even if she dislikes him, it's like the first crack in her denial. She can't easily dismiss his observation. It's the first real proof of Grimes's darkness she's forced to confront.
Okay, so as they go deeper, they start encountering the consequences of Grimes's past actions, specifically those 4 undergrads.
Oh, right. The ones who died 30 years ago in that lab incident. The one officially blamed on faulty gas pipes.
Exactly, except it wasn't gas pipes, it was Grimes's magic. And now they're here in hell as shades, stuck.
And they're tragic figures. They're terrified of moving on, of reincarnation.
Because they might forget who they were. They might come back as someone ordinary, not brilliant Cambridge minds. Their big fear, scared to forget, scared to be other.
And that one line that just kills you. What if you never learned to read? For academics, that's the ultimate horror.
It perfectly captures their whole mindset, that intellectual prison they're in, fear of becoming irrelevant.
Which sets the scene perfectly for the first real test, the Court of Pride, which looks like
a library. Of course it does. Big, maybe nicer than expected, but filled with these hostile, bitter shades.
And what are they trying to do?
They're stuck on this impossible, endless task. Define the good. just perpetually writing, arguing, trying to justify themselves, failing forever.
Sounds like peer review hell, literally. And they meet more of the shade.
Oh, more. He's the embodiment of petty academic grievances, complaining about colleagues, obsessed with titles, made his wife call him doctor. He's a medievalist, mind you. Just peak academic insecurity.
He's the gatekeeper here, right?
Yeah.
The obstacle.
Yeah, not physically scary, just pedantic, infuriatingly bureaucratic. But Alice figures out how to beat him at his own game.
Using logic. Analytic magic in action.
Exactly. She realizes the whole setup is flawed. The task is impossible, so the rule about staying there can't be logically sound. She challenges more to prove, using formal logic premises in conclusion, why they have to stay.
And she specifically mentions modus ponens.
She does. She demands he logically derive the conclusion, they must stay, from premise J, using modus ponens, which is that basic if P then Q, P therefore Q structure.
But because the premise itself, the rule of the court, is arbitrary and the task is nonsensical.
He can't do it. He gets tangled in his own pedantry, trying to formally justify an illogical rule. She weaponizes academic procedure against the academic bureaucrat. It's brilliant.
A truly academic escape route. So they get past pride. Next up.
The Court of Desire, which is all about suppressed appetites, directly challenging that whole analytic magic culture.
Where they pretend bodies don't matter, that physical pleasure is vulgar.
Precisely. Gross sensual pleasures were looked down upon as a distraction from the life of the mind. Nobody admits liking good food or sex or even like pop music. It's all about intellectual purity.
So this court must be a real shock to their system, especially Alice.
Hugely. She genuinely struggles to understand gross physical desire. It's completely alien to her trained mindset. And when they see something, well, explicit, between some shades.
She reacts physically, doesn't she? She throws up.
Violently. Her body is literally rejecting the reality of physical sensation after years of denial. And this leads to a revealing moment.
She tries to defend Grimes.
Yeah, she argues Grimes couldn't possibly be guilty of lust, couldn't be in this court because lust is about a lack of control, incontinence, and Grimes, in her mind, was not weak of will, still seeing him through that purely intellectual, idealized lens.
Still believing the hype. And Peter's reaction.
It's cold anger, very sharp. He just cuts through her justification. I think there's every chance he's here.
Ouch. Implying Grimes's control, his intellectual purity, was probably just a facade.
Exactly. Peter sees the hypocrisy. He's much further along in his disillusionment with Grimes than Alice is at this point. These courts are really forcing them to confront the things they've tried to ignore. The body, the ego, the flaws in their mentor. Hashtag tagged by V. Treachery, illness, and the sunk cost.
Okay, so they've navigated the psychological and bureaucratic hurdles, but then the danger level really ramps up, right? It becomes physical.
Yeah, and they get a warning from another shade, Elspeth Bayes.
Another former Grimes student.
Yep, died by suicide in the river Cam, and she gives them the really bad news about dying in hell.
It's not just reincarnation, is it?
No, it's worse. It's total annihilation of the self. You just become nothing. Raw magical energy that fades away. Game over permanently.
That raises the stakes considerably. And she warns them about hunters.
The Kripkes, visual artists, illusionists from Berkeley of all places. Now they stalk hell, hunting living souls like Alice and Peter.
Why? What do they want?
Fuel, blood, magical energy. For their own great quest, whatever that is, they use these terrifying chalk creatures, bone things, and they make sure there are no survivors.
So suddenly, it's not just about logic puzzles and dealing with annoying shades. It's life or, well, total annihilation.
Exactly. And this immediate, very real physical threat. It pushes Peter to finally confess something huge, something he's been hiding.
The reason he seemed so detached, maybe. The reason he hated his own body.
That's it. He reveals he has Crohn's disease, has had it for a long time.
Which is a serious, often debilitating illness.
Absolutely. And for Peter, it made him feel like his body was just this useless meat sack, a hindrance in the soul's quest for the truth. Always unreliable, always failing him.
And Grimes didn't help, did he?
No, Grimes was cruel about it, told him, "You're not cut out for this." Basically confirmed Peter's worst fears that his physical body made him intellectually unworthy.
God, that's rough. No wonder he had that facade.
It explains so much, his perfectionism, his distance, and it leads to the most shocking reveal about the trip itself.
He tells Alice about the spell, the paradox.
He confesses he designed it, the Ramanujan summation part, specifically for one person. For Alice?
Meaning, He planned to die.
He planned to sacrifice himself. He'd calculated it using basic decision theory. He figured his death gave the mission the best chance of success because Alice was, in his cold logic, the more valuable asset. His life was the price.
Treating himself like an equation? Oh my God.
It's chilling. It shows how deeply that academic denial of the body, that Cambridge ethos, had warped his sense of self-worth. His body was a problem, so eliminating it seemed logical.
But just as you're reeling from Peter's planned sacrifice, Alice drops her own bomb.
A huge one. She finally admits why she's really there. It's not loyalty. It's not even just rescuing him.
It's guilt and revenge, because it's my fault.
Yeah. She confesses she intentionally caused the accident that sent Grimes to hell. A tiny flaw in the pentagram. A broken white line.
Wow. A deliberate, calculated error. The ultimate academic fuck you.
Exactly. And her real plan wasn't rescue. It was much darker. She found these old notes from Eric, though, on necromancy.
And she planned to use them on Grimes.
Her goal was to bind his soul to his corpse. Keep him trapped, alive but powerless. A toy and pet. A talking head, conscious, aware, but completely helpless, begging her for release.
That is ice cold. To reduce the great Professor Grimes to a pathetic object, locked in a closet, forgotten.
It's the ultimate intellectual revenge. She hated how Grimes viewed people, including her, as just mere bodies, disposable tools for his ambition. So her revenge was to make him nothing but a trapped body, forever denied his precious intellect.
And Peter's just stunned, right? He thought she was maybe in love with Grimes.
That was his assumption. Aren't you in love with him? Isn't that the entire point? He completely misread her motivation. It wasn't obsession. It was pure cold rage born from profound intellectual and personal injury.
This whole section just flips everything. Their rivalry suddenly looks different. They weren't just competing. They were both suffering, hiding secrets, driven by the same toxic system.
Exactly. They were both victims manipulating each other and themselves because they thought the other was fine. This shared confession, this awful truth, it actually connects them in a way nothing else could. It sets the stage for the final act. #V. The Reckoning in Dis.
Okay, so armed with these brutal truth about each other and Grimes, they reach the final court. Dis, the city of traitors.
Tyranny and oath-breakers. And if you thought the library was bad, Dis is peak academic suffering.
What's it like?
It's filled with shades, endlessly writing, elaborate, failing dissertations trying to justify their betrayals, their sins, titles like My Pathology, My Unfortunate and Inevitable Criminality.
Trying to philosophize their way out of damnation.
Pretty much. It's pure, unending, futile self-justification. And Alice makes that cutting observation. I've never once seen a passing dissertation in the entire time I've been in hell.
So the system demands justification, but never grants absolution. It's a perfect bureaucratic hell loop.
Exactly. It's a critique of any system that buries you in process without any real hope of resolution. But while they're there, they meet someone interesting. Gertrude.
Who's Gertrude?
An anti-reincarnationist shade. She's not trying to justify herself. She's arguing against the whole cycle of life, death, and rebirth.
Why? What's her argument?
She basically says, why risk it? Why choose rebirth when you could come back as a dung beetle or be born into poverty and suffering? She thinks human life is mostly pain.
So what's her solution?
Rebellion. She wants to stay in hell but make it better, rebuild it into a paradise, choose agency over just accepting the cosmic system. It's a radical stance.
So you've got Grimes wanting pure mind, the Shades wanting validation, Gertrude wanting rebellion. It all comes to a head when Alice finally confronts Grimes.
Right near King Yama's throne, the ruler of hell. And Grimes, he's ecstatic. He's finally free of the body.
He's fully bought into the Socratic idea. The body is the enemy.
Completely. He sees death as the ultimate freedom. He genuinely believes the whole point of a scholar's life is just training for this moment to shed the physical and pursue pure, abstract truth. He tries to convince Alice to stay with him, abandon her body.
But Alice isn't having it anymore.
Not at all. She's done with his philosophy. Instead of arguing metaphysics, she just lays out her revenge plan, the talking head, the closet, and she tells him, cold as ice, I only mean to show you my work.
Using his own academic language against him, presenting her vengeance as her ultimate thesis. Wow.
It's devastating. She utterly rejects his denial of the physical. She chooses life, sensation, imperfection. I want to be alive. I want to lick sugar off my fingers and feel the sun warm my skin. It's a total embrace of the body he despised.
Okay, so Grimes is dealt with, intellectually annihilated by Alice. But they still need to get out. How does that happen?
Leverage. Alice uses that weird flower Elspeth found earlier, the dialethia.
To true contradiction.
Exactly. A thing that is both true and false at the same time. It breaks logic. She basically holds this logical impossibility hostage against King Yama.
Like a philosophical grenade.
Pretty much. And she argues her case. She deserves a refund from hell, she says, because she got rid of pests for him, Grimes, who wanted to rewrite Yama's rules, and the Kripkes.
And Yama buys it.
He's amused. He accepts the paradox, this impossible flower, and gives this amazing line. We deities are lenient, you see. We do love to be amused.
So the ultimate power in this universe is basically entertained by their logical games. It finds magicians' lies funny.
Seems like it. Logic is maybe less important than a good story, a good contradiction, so he lets them go.
And they just walk out.
A staircase appears. They climb back up, find themselves in a Cambridge courtyard, Magdalen College, back in the real world, alive, together.
And Peter has that final thought, looking at the night sky.
Yeah, about why the stars seem dark. It's not that there's no light, it's because the universe is expanding and all that distant light is still stretching to reach us.
It's a beautiful image. Like hope or maybe understanding is on its way, but it takes time. They can't force it like they tried to force everything else.
Exactly. They've been through hell, literally, confronted their own and each other's darkness, and now they have to figure out how to live with it back in the real physical world. But maybe, finally, not entirely alone. Hashtag Merida outro.
Wow. Okay. Katabasis. That was a journey. It's definitely one of those books that sticks with you, makes you think.
For sure. The way it tackles that intense academic ambition, the cost of it, and that shift in Alice and Peter from just bitter rivals to something more complex, dependent on each other almost.
And the whole theme of suppressed desire, the body versus the mind. Kuang just explores it all so brilliantly within this really unique, kind of terrifying hell setting.
Yeah, I think for me, the big takeaway is that validation of the physical. Alice's final choice, wanting to feel the sun, wanting to taste sugar. It feels like the most profound truth in the whole book, much more than any of Grimes's abstract theories. It really dismantles that ivory tower idea.
It definitely makes you look at ambition differently. And that line from King Yama about being amused, it's kind of unsettling, isn't it? Makes you wonder what all our own striving and justifying looks like from the outside. Are we all just amusing the deities with our elaborate rationalizations?
That's a heavy thought to end on. But yeah, I think that's part of the point. Questioning what we value, what we sacrifice for abstract goals versus, actual living.
Absolutely fantastic book. Really makes you think. So what about you listening? What stood out? Which circle of hell sounded the worst? Let us know in the comments. We really do want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, definitely tell us. And please, if you enjoyed this, do like, comment, share it around. And of course, subscribe to Cliffhangers and Page Turners so you don't miss out.
Please do. Join us again next week. We're shifting gears a bit, moving into psychological thriller territory for episode 36 with The Rivals by Daniel Hurst.
Ooh, that sounds juicy. Looking forward to it. Goodbye for now.
See you next time.